My god, the series is not over. I mean, it'll be over after this video, but luckily it's about 20 minutes long, so I think that's a proper ending. And I'll talk about why we're ending the series now, but first we have to set the scene and all that good stuff. After a Game 1 win, where we barely defeated Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, we went into the huddles preparing for the last minute and 40 of a Game 7 in New York City against the Sixers. We almost turned the ball over. Shout out to Markelle Fultz for playing defense. And if that was not a terrible pass from Porzingis to Ayton, then perhaps that play would have resulted in 2 points. But at the same time, the play itself wasn't very good, so I guess that was the basketball gods punishing me. Similar to how they're punishing everyone in real life by injuring every player in the NBA. With Kevin Love, Andre Robertson, DeMarcus Cousins, and probably somebody else. DeAndre Ayton couldn't finish around the basket to Joel Embiid, and after Philadelphia passes the ball around a million times, Embiid has positioning on DeAndre Ayton in the low post, and that's the worst thing that could have possibly happened, is Porzingis fouling Embiid this late into a game, and that could be the deciding factor on us losing this Game 7 in New York. I don't know why I didn't show our offensive possession after. I just have to assume it wasn't very good. Or I looked really stupid and I didn't want to show you what happened to avoid my embarrassment. I don't know. Markelle Fultz, that's about how his jump shot is going in real life at the moment. Tim Hardaway Jr. coming down, and that's good. Perhaps that is what we could use as a spark plug in order to win this game. It's basically one possession now. I'm already preparing for the Joel Embiid post-up. We might as well quadruple team the guy. Ooh boy, that's rough. A 3-point deficit, 6 seconds left. The people in New York have to have a decent enough idea of where this thing is going. It's to that guy in the huddle. The guy who has hit countless buzzer beaters for us throughout this series. What's going to happen? Porzingis, it's going to have to be a 3-pointer with this much time left. And I tried to do a move that didn't really happen, and now it's just got to be... Well, there you go. We lose in round 1 to the Philadelphia 76ers. That is pretty disheartening if you ask me. And now that gives us just another piece, or another team that we have to deal with in this thing, you know? We've already got enough teams in the Eastern Conference, but here's where this thing starts to get really weird. The Atlanta Hawks just won the NBA Finals, averaging 16 and 11. Marvin Bagley did, if I remember his name. So we got to deal with Marvin Bagley in the East. We got to deal with Joel Embiid in the East. That was the first step towards this episode not making any sense, by the way. Now, if we talk about Al Horford, who is a free agent. But I think we just need a guy like Horford. Now, to do it, I have to ruin Jeremy Grant's life. Well, not necessarily, because I'm trading him away. I'm not going to release the guy, so he can still at least get an NBA, be in an NBA situation. Second round pick, because I thought 2 was a little unfair. And now we're going to sign Al Horford. Now, let me talk about why I'm doing this now. Why am I ending the series on this video? I mean, part of it was just if you look at the performance of the last couple of MyGM videos, compared to everything else I've been doing, which is mainly just focused on the NBA, people clearly want to watch the NBA stuff more than they want to do the MyGM stuff, right? On top of that, I could see it in the comments section, some people being like, this series is cool, but it'd be nice if he did a different team, and I was personally just getting a little bored of the series as well. Am I done with MyGM? Of course not, man. I do enjoy building a team up, and we will be, talking about that. Maybe at the end of this video, maybe not. Anyway, besides Horford, we have a Grizzlies first-round pick, and I'm keeping my eye on how Memphis was doing, because they are currently 3-10, 13 games into it. But it's still a year beforehand. But then something weird happened. We just became this amazing team out of nowhere. And it's not really because of the individual production, because Porzingis still doesn't average what he's supposed to average, but at this point it's whatever. So what is it? Well, we're still shooting our 3-pointers, but what it really is, and you can kind of already see it, the defense. By far and away the best defensive team in the NBA. Kind of overwhelmingly, to the point where it's kind of weird. And the title of this video says, the series finale that doesn't make any sense. Can we consider that not making any sense? I mean, we already had the Atlanta Hawks win the finals, with Marvin Bagley not even putting up 20 points a game. This entire series hasn't made sense because Porzingis has barely put up any points compared to how good he is. And now we're a defensive juggernaut when we have how many good defenders? We have Porzingis, Al Horford, who's still pretty decent at 34 years old. Ntilikina is a lockdown dude at this point. And everybody else is, I guess, pretty okay. And apparently it's enough. And as we simulated the entire rest of the season, 61 wins. And I had to actually check to see if I had the simulator thing at 0. And of course, me just showing this here at, 60, and we're still winning games, that doesn't convince you completely, because I could have just done that and then done an image. But trust me, okay? We do have to look at Ntilikina's improvement. 14 points, 7 assists per game. The turnovers, well, I don't know his turnover percentage, so maybe it's okay. It seems like at 22 years old, Ntilikina really became the point guard that we envisioned. That dude who, as his career went on, could get a little better at scoring and playing in the pick and roll and just leading an offense a little bit, but then also doing a lot of off-ball stuff, three-point shooting, defense, all those good things. In round 1, we would face the Detroit Pistons, who were the 8th seed. We'll see what happens with Blake Griffin. The first game with him and Andre Drummond and these guys is tonight. I definitely look forward to that. I believe it's on League Pass, and League Pass can be kind of dumb for like 12 different reasons, but I'll have to put up with it. Anyway, round 1 was a sweep against the Detroit Pistons. Shout out to the Pistons for having by far and away the brightest court in 2K. So that video that I did like 3 days ago where the saturation was blown out, it's because the moment you put any saturation on the Pistons, it just gets destroyed. Anyway, we're playing the Cavs in round 2. How's that for an intro to this round 2 series against Cleveland for you? Another reason why I wanted to end this, okay, that's ridiculous by Isaiah Thomas. I'm getting tired of doing the whole versus Cleveland and LeBron storyline, which always happens when I do an Eastern Conference team. I would have liked to believe that if you fast forward X amount of years, these guys are out of the picture. They're still not. So the next team I'm going to be doing is going to be in the Western Conference. So then I can just hit you with the can we beat the Warriors storyline, which I guess is more interesting than the Cleveland one, because if anything, it's just a new storyline. And because 2K doesn't make sense half the time, maybe the Warriors will suck. Anyway, the goal of this series is to attack Isaiah Thomas, because he's already terrible on defense, and this is like 4 years in the future. So at this point, the dude's just got to be like the biggest joke of a defender ever. Anyway, it's Game 6 in Cleveland. And to go along with this series finale that doesn't make sense, you may notice, number 1, Porzingis has 9 points and he's only shot the ball 6 times. Number 2, LeBron is not in the game. It seems that a lineup of Luka Doncic and Jay Crowder and Tristan Thompson would be better off than having LeBron James in there. Now, LeBron is like 37 years old at this point, so I have to assume he's depleted at least a little bit. And there's the good old CPU pick-and-roll defense that still doesn't make any sense no matter what I do. I jack the sliders up, which we will take a look at later on, but we've seen that before. You jack the sliders up, you tell them to leave guys open, you tell them to switch on pick and rolls, and it doesn't make a difference. Again, I do think part of it is because I had already started this series when 2K had the patch that made CPU defenses better. A part of me believes like it didn't apply to my series because I had already started it, which really doesn't make any sense, but that is the feeling that I've gotten, and 2K has never always been the most reliable when it comes to just making an all-around good product, so it wouldn't shock me, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's a 4-point game. Isaiah Thomas is the only one shooting the ball right now. No one's in the paint. Well, there was some help defense by Crowder, give him credit. He didn't really do anything once I got in there with Porzingis, but it was something at least. Hopefully Crowder can do stuff like that in real life, because the Cavaliers are going to need that, because their defense is pretty messy right now. Also, Kevin Love's hurt. I probably will make a video on that at some point. Shout out to Tim Hardaway for shooting the only mid-range jumper of this entire series. because all we've pretty much ever done is shoot threes or run pick and rolls. I think LeBron's coming in the game now. Oh no, he's not, because the game's officially over. How did they get Jaylen Brown? Like, the Cavaliers are already the most expensive team in the league. How the hell did Jaylen Brown end up here? This finale is a mess. We got Jaylen Brown on the Cavs. We got the Hawks winning the finals. We have us as winning 61 games. We have the Cavaliers not playing LeBron James in the last 4 minutes of a Game 6. That's a must-win. I don't know, man. We're going to have to fight through this and figure it out. Also, here's another thing. Al Horford getting the post-game interview when he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Barely at all. I mean, at this point, he's probably a pretty wise dude. Eastern Conference Finals time. The Brooklyn Nets have figured it out. How crazy would this be? A New York Eastern Conference Finals between the Nets and the Knicks. I mean, I know the Yankees and the Mets played in the World Series a decent time ago at this point, and I'm sure that was pretty nuts in New York. This would be crazy as well. Zion Williamson being the new guy for the Nets, who I have to assume would be their best player at this point. They have kind of a committee thing going on with D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Zion, all that good stuff. We're up 2-0, so this is a must-win Game 3 for these guys. Do you think we're going to lose this thing? I mean, with the defense like that, and the fact that you already know the series ends after this, probably not. We're probably not going to lose, let's be real here. Let's not fake the suspense. But perhaps we do, Maybe I throw a curveball on this thing. D'Angelo Russell, my favorite player in the NBA, of course, trying to dribble into the wrong side of the floor. There's a lot of traffic on that side, DJ. Might have been better off for you not to do that. And I could have gone for the post-up, but I'm pretty sure I was afraid of a 3 seconds call. Now we go to the classic Porzingis-Ntilikina pick and roll, and I kind of stood there for a second because I was like, are you kidding me right now? Where's the defense, Do I actually check it right here? I do. I actually go and look to make sure that, everything is what it should be. Look at this, 100 help defense. Every single defensive stat is 100. And the CPU ain't playing defense. Their lateral quickness is even 75, and they can't defend the pick and roll. So, I'm doing what I can. Should I have gone for the steal on the inbound? No, I shouldn't have. I get a green release when you just saw that my three-pointer was -8 or something from game sliders, so I don't know. You know what the weird thing? Sometimes I think that I might have accidentally not put the sliders on Hall of Fame first before adjusting them, but I feel like I did. So, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Hopefully with the new series, I'm gonna break the suspense. It's gonna be the Phoenix Suns, okay? So we'll get that out of the way. Hopefully with the Phoenix Suns series, the CPU is just a little better. Maybe I'll just have to go more in detail with matchups, defensive assignments, and all that good stuff. Here's another thing that doesn't make sense. Why are the Nets taking 9 years to shoot the ball right now? You're down 3. You should have gotten a shot off a lot quicker than you just did to give yourself more opportunities, because now with 7 seconds left, well, we played the foul game, it got to 2 seconds and all that good stuff. Anyway, now we win. Shout out to D'Angelo Russell for making it a 2-point game to make it look closer than it actually was. So we're up 3-0 now, and, who's going to get the post-game interview? This is very important, clearly. It's going to be, once again, Al Horford. So I have to assume at this point that Horford is just like the elder statesman of this team. We have the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, which is actually somewhat surprising just because 2K is so random that you never know who the hell's actually going to make it. But we have Golden State featuring center Frank Kaminsky. I think there's a joke to be made there. I don't entirely know what it is. Frank Ntilikina's responsibility in this series would be through the roof because he's got to defend Steph Curry. And Curry at this point, I mean, a little older, but who the hell cares? Not old enough to really make a huge difference. The talent in this series is through the roof, and I'm pretty sure the, three best players in this thing, or definitely the two best players in this series are on the other team, and three of the four best players are on Golden State. Hell, maybe even four of the five best. So do we have any business winning this series? No, not at all. The only thing we could possibly do is just be physical as hell, beat these guys up, and, I mean, we are the best defensive team in the NBA. I think a lot of that is because we have a lot of like-sized bodies, guys who can switch. Ntilikina, of course, being great on defense, so that would be the way to do it. But, obviously, since the series ends at this video, well, you know, loophole for the sake of loopholes, I guess. I have actually done it before where we've lost to the Warriors in the final video and then we beat them after I simulate an entire season. Maybe I do that, who knows. Al Horford's actually playing in this game, so if he gets the post-game interview, then I guess that would make a little bit more sense. What's Golden State going to run here? We have Terrence Jones, shout out to him. If he would have thrown it to Kevin Durant a second earlier, they could have got an open three. Chef Curry was attempting to knock down a three, it didn't work. We're now going to see a stretch of basketball that has really bad offense. So we got Porzingis on a hook shot that I should not have shot because he's an elite turnaround jumper kind of guy. We have Steph Curry taking another three-pointer after not moving the ball around too much, which you could argue is actually not bad offense at all. Then we have the worst offensive possession ever, as I had a wide-open layup with Tim Hardaway, and I decided to give it to Horford for some sentimental reason, and then we get nothing out of it. So that was beautiful basketball. And then Golden State down the other end on a Kevin Durant isolation. He misses a shot that he probably would make any other time. We nearly throw the ball away. Then I have to sprint up court with Tim Hardaway to not get a 8-second call. This is clearly the NBA Finals. This is as high quality basketball as you can possibly get. Anyway, after we get all that out of the way, we get a 3-point play because once again, CPU defense, all that good stuff. I believe I even go into the thing here. Yeah, I switch to the Warriors, and then I go to their defensive settings, so they'll at least do something. I believe I tell them to lay off of Norman Powell a little bit, as you should. It says his three-pointer's a B+, I don't know why. He's like mid-70s on open threes or something. Like, I have to give them some sort of an avenue to actually play pick-and-roll defense, you know? Like, that's how you do it. You leave some guys open, you bring help, you dare dudes to shoot threes. These are pick-and-roll defense fundamentals that they're just not doing, and it's a little frustrating to play against, I'll say that. I decided to have Horford in there because I figured it would be good to have his versatile defense against a team like this. Now, of course, the Warriors would be going with Draymond at center at this point, and I don't even think Draymond's in the game right now. So, I mean, peak 2K once again. Frank Kaminsky, not exactly defending Al Horford. 7-point game. I believe Steph Curry, does he shoot a three-pointer out of nowhere here? That's exactly what he does, and it goes in. It's a terrifying sight whenever Steph Curry shoots a three, it really is. I think Steph Curry would be the second guy in my life, maybe the third, where whenever they shoot the ball, I always think it's going in. The first one being Kobe Bryant, then Steph Curry, then Ray Allen. I guess Klay Thompson could probably be in that list as well. So they're not doing the whole help defense thing that I told them to do a second ago. So now I'm going to tell them just to switch everything. Because even if I get some sort of a positional advantage, at least it's like another obstacle that I have to overcome rather than just getting a free lane to the basket. I'm doing what I can, man. Like when I have to tell the Golden State Warriors to play good defense, we got a problem, okay? That's just the best way to put it. A 6-point game. We got to go to the money play, which is Hardaway, Porzingis, something, and they did not switch. You know what? I tried, okay? I attempted to make it more difficult, and the CPU did not honor my request. Now, just to top off this whole entire thing, Norman Powell really wants to hold the ball at the end of the game. I mean, he is yelling at Porzingis right now. He was already yelling at Ntilikina earlier, so I figure, screw it, Norman. Dribble the ball out, okay? I think it's because he wanted to throw the ball to someone in, like, the front row. So maybe it was an ex-girlfriend, an ex-wife. maybe an ex-boyfriend. I don't know how Norman Powell swings. Anyway, we won. Shout out to Walt Clyde Frazier. Shout out to Mike Breen. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony. New York Knicks are the NBA champions. Thank you very much for watching. I think I might wait until the trade deadline is over and then pick up the Suns series. They just bought out Greg Monroe. They might do more things after that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Zinger's the MVP. 20 minutes later, and we're finally done.